Guys, welcome back to another week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. Again, I'm your host, Brent Rasmussen, owner of Mortgage Specialists. And here today, we're still going to provide this ongoing question and education to you that thousands of people have asked through the years. And the main question is, do I really need 20% down to purchase a home? And that's an open-ended question, but the general answer is no. You do not need 20% down to purchase a home. And when we mean down, we're speaking about down payment. And if you've watched our videos before, in order to purchase a home on top of down payment, you also need closing costs and prepaids. So when we talk about these big numbers, it is very daunting for first-time home buyers or anyone to say, I don't have $50, $60, $100,000 to buy a home. And I will tell you that's not always needed. It's a big old nomer that parents and grandparents have passed on, I feel, for generations, that while you can do 20% down, it's not required. And especially for our first-time home buyers, because it's hardest for them to save the largest amount of money just due to their time and their age, and their income and their ability to make income. So let's talk about some of the statistics behind what we need for a down payment and why this is chatted about. So the very first chart we're going to kind of share today here is one that in our study that they put down here. And I know my picture is in the way, but it's a study called The Consumer Belief of a Typical Down Payment. And in this chart, you'll see a big bar here at 35% on the right-hand side. And then if we add 35% plus 10%, that's 45% of renters believe that you need at least 16% down payment or more. And that's almost nearly half of the population. And that's a big scare tactic of why people don't look into home ownership, because they feel that they need that number. Or if we go all the way to the far left-hand side where it says 0 to 5% as a down payment, only 11% of our population understands that we can do a lesser down payment than 20%, or even less than 5% possibly as well, which a conventional loan and an FHA loan will both do either 3 or 3.5% down. And what this means is 89% of the population doesn't understand that you don't need a large down payment to qualify for a home. So this is the education that we're going to provide to you here today. Why is the 20% conversation talked about? Well, the reason why people feel that you need to put 20% down is because that gets you out of mortgage insurance on a conventional loan. And a lot of people don't understand how mortgage insurance works. Mortgage insurance covers, again, the lender in case the borrower becomes foreclosed on. And some people would say, why would I want to pay for that insurance? You don't have a choice. It's required if you put less than 20% down. That's just how the rules are written. And it used to be when our parents and grandparents and people that, have bought their second or third houses bought properties back in the 70s and 90s, the mortgage insurance was very expensive. The last 5 or 10 years, mortgage insurance is very, very cheap. So 20% down isn't always needed. It's a gamble on which way you want to use your money. Obviously, do you want to leave it in the stock market, or do you want to pull it out and put it down towards your house? There's options, but if you don't even have those options, there's no need to necessarily gamble and save the 20% down, because right now, more than ever in the history of lending, mortgage insurance is very cheap. Also, if you put down less than 20%, generally speaking, you get the same interest rate whether you put down 20% or 5% if you have a great credit score. It can change now a little bit, but it's not drastic. So some people might state, if I put down, 10 or 15%, is my rate going to change? And I would say generally it doesn't. But that's really a misnomer, thinking that you have to put down 20% always to get the best interest rate. But if you do have a lower credit score, sometimes putting 20% down is required on a conventional loan. And here's what we're really going to talk about these days right now, besides knowing that you don't need to put down 20%. I've done a study here last week that I put together all of the properties that have sold here in the since April 1st of 2023. And we looked at what type of loan options are available, or what type of loan options have sellers accepted offers on based on a price range. And we're going to see a little bit of a chart here that we're quickly going to go through. We're going to see different price range of homes from 0 to 150, 150 to 200,000, 200 to 300,000, and then 3 to 400,000. So those are different price ranges generally that buyers are going to be in. depending on their income level, their debt level, things of that nature. But as we can see, if we start to the far left-hand side, majority of properties that sold between 0 and 150, sellers are accepting cash at 45%. Then the next type of financing option that they'll accept is 40% will accept a conventional loan, 8% accepted an FHA loan, and 4% accepted a VA loan. Again, this chart is from January 1st to April 30th of properties that have sold in the Omaha MLS area. If we look at the 150 to 200, now we see cash drop significantly and conventional being the number one percentage of offers being accepted by sellers. At 54% of the time, if you put in an offer with a conventional loan, you may get your offer accepted over a cash or an FHA or VA. As we go over to $200,000 to $300,000 range, now all of a sudden conventional goes from 54% to 62%. Our FHA and VA go up a little bit to 12 and 13%. And then we move all the way to the far column, our $300,000 to $400,000 price range, anywhere from 62% of conventional loans, then FHA and VA 10 and 18%. Why do we show this chart? Is because many clients may call and say, I don't have a large down payment. And they might also be looking at a property less than, say, $250,000 or less than $200,000. We try to stress to those clients that at some point in time, getting a conventional loan may be the highest percentage, or we know it's the highest percentage of odds that you can play to get a property. Meaning, if you have a lower credit score or a lower down payment loan like FHA and VA, you can see the statistics are much lower on the acceptance rates of those kind of financing options, more than, say, a conventional or a cash offer is. So this chart was really intended to educate the consumer to say, even if you have a lesser down payment and FHA might be a better loan for you, you might not have a great opportunity to get your offer accepted by the sellers just due to these percentages. So if we look at FHA across the board, 8% of the offers, 13% of the offers, 12% and 10% of the offers across the board are accepted as FHA offers. VA 4%, 8%, 13 and 18%. So we see those lower numbers, obviously, and we can definitely advise our clients that conventional offers are much more accepted than FHA and VA right now. Why is that? We put out videos about this, educating that government loans are riskier for sellers just because of the extra rules that exist out there. But I would argue that a conventional loan is a government loan. The FHFA is a part of the federal government. But with conventional loans, generally speaking, we don't see as many repair options that are required. So back to the story at hand. Do I really need 20% down to purchase a home? The answer is no, unless you have lower credit. But also a lot of people state, I might want to go with the lower down payment of an FHA or a VA loan. But we also will suggest to you during these times of low inventory, the seller is getting to choose the type of financing or option that you as a buyer are presenting to them. But in summary here, to understand that on conventional loans, 20% down is not required for a first-time home buyer. You can do as little as 3% or 5% or 10 or 15% down are the sweet spots that you'll get cheaper interest rates or possibly cheaper mortgage insurance. But to educate the public that you do not need as much money down as 45% of the population thinks, we need more than 16% of a down payment or greater. That's a very likely, very, very large number that that consumers believe they need, because I feel people through the last 10, 20, 30 years have told clients you need to have that 20% down to get a great mortgage loan, and you don't. So here at Mortgage Specialists, we're here to give you the facts. We're here to educate. We're here to get you the information you need to give the best opportunity to get the best financing and the best property or home ownership for you. So we hope you like the information that we present. You can subscribe here on our YouTube channel. Feel free to check us out on our website at mtg-specialist.com, or we're just a phone call away at 402-991-5153. We hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.